Prima Media's Mining Weekly is speaking to Jan Nelson, a seasoned campaigner in the mining business who has been here, there and everywhere in mining, and is now hot on the trail of non-ferrous endowment in South Africa's Northern Cape. Jan, can you tell us about your new company, Cape Copper Oxide, and your listing plans?
We are rebranding the company from Cape Copper Oxide to Big Tree Copper, but we're very excited about it. We are looking to rehabilitate old mine dumps in the Northern Cape area near Nababib, and we will be producing copper, A-grade copper through a SXEW plant. And what's nice about this is that we're also rehabilitating the environment. We're cleaning up all the old mine waste dumps in the area. We'll be commissioning the plant in July and then going into full production.
And how did you acquire these dumps? And how did you raise the funds for these assets?
We've been walking around in the area for the last sort of 3 or 4 years looking for hard rock copper deposits. And one day on a visit to Nababib at the Cape Copper Company's offices, we saw all the rock dumps lying around in the area. Now, everybody always thought that these rock dumps were waste. But on a closer inspection, we saw there was a lot of oxide material and we could see the copper. We sampled it and then discovered that there was quite a big resource of copper lying there. Now, these are oxides, so the only way to get the copper out is you have to build a SXEW plant, a solvent extraction plant, and they are quite expensive. And it's been a painful journey for the last 2 years. We started with borrowing and begging money from friends and family and putting our own money in, and then we build a segment of the plant and then prove that we've gotten to a certain milestone, and then we get more money, and finally we got to where we wanted to be. Initially we actually contacted one of these plant building companies, consultancy companies, to build a plant, and unfortunately these guys never delivered, and that forced us to actually partner up with an engineer in Nababib who's got his own workshop, who's part of the team, Tinus van Schalkwyk, and that forced us to design and build our own plant. So we've also designed and built our own plant with some painful lessons, but we've done it for probably a third of the cost of a normal plant of its size. It is, as far as I know, the only SXEW plant in South Africa only for copper production. I know some of the platinum producers can produce copper and so on as a byproduct through plating, but as far as I know, this is the only SXEW plant in South Africa purpose-built just for copper production. So we're also, I think, the only pure copper producer in South Africa. I know Phalaborwa produces copper as well, but they don't produce the SXEW copper plates that we'll be producing. So it is a first for South Africa, and we've got the in-house ability to build more of these plants.
Have you got an offtake arrangement?
We have an offtake agreement with Noble Metals, and so we will be selling the copper plates at mine gate. Our plates are about 1 meter by 1 meter, and they're about 4 to 8 millimeters thick, and we stack them on pallets, and then Noble Metals come and collect them at the mine gate. Our plates are about 99.899% pure copper. There's virtually no impurities. We plated our first plate in October of last year, and then we decided to expand, which we've done, and the plant's going back. So we know we've got very little impurities, and we plate fairly clean copper. The current plant will start up doing about 100 tons of copper, and the equation is very simple at the moment. 100 tons times $10,000 a ton is $1 million. And our costs are in the order of about $250,000 a month. So this plant will do 100. It can go up to 160 because, there's always a gradual build-up. So we'll tweak it and in the next 4 months get it to 160 tons of copper. But then the plan would be next year to expand it to about 240. And then we'll look at building another plant that can do 250. Our aim is to get up to about 500 tons of copper per month. Once we've listed on ZARX, we will be the only South African pure copper play. But we also add another component. We'll be not just the only pure copper play, but the only pure environmentally green copper play.
Why are you choosing this ZARX exchange?
I think it's just purpose fit for us. But we like their platform, the electronic platform they have, so we can give shares to our employees. They can immediately see those shares on their mobiles. They can sell and buy shares. It's just a very nice, great electronic platform. and it allows a company of our size to list faster and for less money than you would normally on let's say the JSE. And you know, I've been listed on the JSE. There's nothing wrong. I just think it's exchanges for different sizes of companies.
How much do you intend raising?
That's the nice thing. We don't have to raise any money. We're fully funded. There is a big South African fund manager coming in pre the listing. I'm not allowed to say who they are until we list, but they're coming in pre-listing. But we're fully funded. We don't have to raise any money, and our plant is nearly complete, and we'll have cash in the bank, and we should be cash positive from month 2.
And let me get back to, you know, the sort of the red tape we have in our mind about acquiring these rights. You seem to move in there and get these dumps. Is it the same sort of process that one has to go through when one gets exploration and mining rights?
We don't see ourselves as a mining company or a processing company. We see ourselves as an environmental cleanup company. And therefore, you know, there's some strict protocols we will adhere to on the environmental side. We are spending about $10 extra a ton on cleaning the dumps up, cleaning the rocks up, because we'll produce no residue. And it's quite important for us to make that environmental contribution as well, because we do get a premium rating on our copper. You know, copper doesn't just drive the new green economy, but cleaning up the environment in the process is also a good thing. And we're doing it in an area where there's been a legacy of behind that nobody's going to clean up. So we are doing that, and at the same time, we're making a lot of money. We've also acquired the Cape Copper Company, who was incorporated in 1937. They were formed by Newmont, and they owned all the big mines. With that comes a huge package of land rights. There's also water in the area that contains copper, about 0.5 gram, a liter of copper in the water. We're going to extract that copper as well through a membrane plant, and then we'll have clean water. And our plan is to then develop a big agricultural hub. It's not our core business, but we've got people that are very good with that. We'll build tunnels, and that will create quite a lot of jobs at the end. And I probably guess that in about 5 or 8 years, that business will be bigger than the copper business or the cleanup business. You know, so there's a lot of spin-offs of all the stuff we're doing.
So it's green and clean and goes into real green agriculture, which is fantastic. And this is a 30-year resource, and you say you want to mine it in 15 years?
Definitely. You know, we don't want to mine 30 years. However, we are in discussion with some strategic partners around us where we can secure another 30 years of oxide material. That oxide material, though, will have to be mined. It's in situ, whereas the current resource we have is all loose rock piles lying on surface. But, I mean, the bottom line is to not mine over 30 years. So we've built this plant. It goes into production. And I think once we see that it's running well, we will be looking to building a second one, and then that will halve the life.
Can you speak to me about this non-ferrous potential of the Northern Cape and this scramble at the moment for deposits?
Orion owns half of the copper belt, and Shirley Hayes with the Ship Copper Mine owns the other half. Both of them are going to be issued their mining licenses soon, and both parties are going to build 2 underground copper mines. We're in the middle processing surface rock dumps. And we all three agree that this will be the next mineral province of South Africa. I mean, there is still a lot of area that's open. On the current areas we have, there's a lot of deposits. Just to give you an example, on the Ship copper mine area, you know, they've got 10 mines potentially that they can develop and 60 prospects. So, you know, this is the size of the area. It's been neglected for very long. Most of these deposits have been drilled out by Newmont and Goldfields, who mine here. You know, nobody knows it, but the JOHANNESBURG mine had a 2-kilometer shaft that was sunk by Newmont and Goldfields, you know, to the same scale as the Witwatersrand gold mines. So, and there's a lot of ore bodies that have been drilled out, sitting on surface with mining infrastructure in place. The guys have been working over the last 10 years to bring all the information to account. And as I said, both will be issued mining license imminently to start mining hard rock. And we'll be obviously rehabilitating dumps. And there's huge growth potential. So I think South Africa is going to get a nice growing copper sector, which it hasn't had for a long time. These copper deposits were the first modern day discovery of copper in South Africa, and they were actually mined by the local people since the 1600s.
There's a massive advantage from going for dumps, isn't there?
Martin, I think so. You know, I hear a lot of conversation in South Africa about everybody complains we're not doing enough exploration in South Africa. But, you know, South Africa is blessed because we've had so much exploration that there's a whole number of mines, small scale mines and deposit that can just be mined. So maybe if you're running around in the DRC where there isn't a lot of mines and you have to do exploration, but I'm not always sure why people push this exploration topic in South Africa. There's so many deposits we can just mine immediately. And cash is king. The copper rocks that are lying loosely on surface are running between 1 to 3.5% copper. If you look at a ROM ton, we're getting about $150 a ton, ROM ton, and it's costing us about $40. So we're making a healthy margin there. If you want to equate it in dollars per ton, if the copper price falls below $2,800 a ton, then we'll break even. So, at $10,000 a ton, we're making extremely good profits. We planned this project at about $5,800 a ton. So again, it's about margin, but it's because it's lying on surface. It's within a 5-kilometer radius of our plant. There's no real big transport costs. We have got a fleet of yellow equipment, but we are going to convert that to battery electric vehicles. So, that will further reduce our costs by about 15%. So very healthy margin. We're currently employing around 60 people, Martin, and we'll probably end up, when we've grown both plants in the next year, we'll probably employ about over 250 people. There's 2 other companies that will start up production as well. So there'll be a lot of job creation in the area.
That was Creamer Media's Mining Weekly, speaking to Jan Nelson.